manufactured homes. Can you live in the Villages, Florida for under $200,000? Well, I'm here to tell you today, yes, you can. It is in the Orange Blossom historic side of the community, in the manufactured and modular home. And today I'm covering several things. You're going to discover the difference between a manufactured home and a modular home, prices of what they look like now, and how much it costs to insure, plus two things that could kill a deal before it even starts, so you're going to want to stay tuned to the end. My name's Robyn Cavallaro. I'm a realtor here in Florida. If this information is important to you, if you wouldn't mind, hit that like and subscribe button, because you will get a copy or a notification when the next video comes out. I'm here at Sumter Landing, freezing. I just had a closing, so I thought I would come up here and do my intro from Sumter Landing in January, when all of you are up north, snowed in, and we're cold, but we're shoveling more sunshine. All right, so again, we're gonna go over how you can live here for under $200,000 in the manufactured home. No bond, no CDD. We're going on up north. But first, we're gonna go home to my computer where it's nice and warm and take the rest of this video away. Yes, you can live in the Villages, Florida for under $200,000, and we are gonna go over that now. I'm gonna show you prices of homes and what they've recently sold for, and those will be, I have several listings that I've sold within the past year. I'm just gonna show you what they look like and what prices they went for. We're gonna go over insurance and what that looks like for a manufactured home. And lastly, as a bonus, the two things that will kill a deal every single time in a manufactured or modular home. I'm Robyn Cavallaro. I'm a realtor here in the Villages, Florida. I've sold quite a few homes on the historic side of the Villages, and it's definitely a very interesting proposition, but there are some great finds up there and then some real absolute disgusting dumps. And when I'm telling you disgusting, I'm serious. All right, so before we get started, you have to remember, if you're looking to move here, you have to get a copy of my book on Amazon. Again, 236 pages. It is a reference guide. I have everything you need to know about moving here, buying here, living here, getting sick here, dying here. Everything is in this book. You're gonna like it. It's available on Amazon. So get it in print or for your Kindle device. So let's start where you can find these homes. They are located primarily in the historic district. The original section of the Villages were all manufactured homes, and you're going to find those here on the map. They are just north of Spanish Springs, on the opposite, not on the same side as the main part of the Villages, from Spanish Springs across 441. Then there's also a small sliver here, just south of Spanish Springs, where you're going to find modular homes, which we're going to talk about that in a moment. So those are the sections that you're going to find these properties, and they're going to be primarily in what we call Orange Blossom Gardens, Country Club Hills, and Silver Lake. Those are the villages where you'll find these properties. There's no CDD, no bond, and they are in Lake County, Lady Lake, which is the third tax bracket, the fourth highest tax bracket we have here. That's Lake County, Lady Lake. And if you need more information about taxes, I do check out that video because I show you the tax bills and I go over the locations and where you're going to find these tax rates. You'll find it very informative. It's part of my Money Map series, which we discuss the bond, the CDD, the amenity fee, taxes, and I have two more coming up on expenses and the ARC. So you want to stay tuned for that. Let's talk about what is the difference between a manufactured home and a modular home. A manufactured home, versus a modular home. Well, a manufactured home was manufactured to HUD specifications, to HUD code. It's built on a permanent chassis and it is transferred to its location. Now, I can't speak for the rest of the country, but in Florida, you have two opportunities to own these types of homes. One is where you own just a structure and you rent the lot. The Villages is not like that. Those homes with lot rent can be moved to another location. In the Villages, the HUD tag that says it's basically kind of like a car it's been detitled and attached to real estate. And we can sell those as realtors. We cannot sell homes that have lot rent. That's a special license because basically it's considered chattel or private property or personal property, excuse me, where when it's attached to real estate, you need a real estate license, which we have here. In the Villages, we do not have lot rent. You own the land that your manufactured home is on, and they come in single and double wides. And I guess they make them in triple wides, and if the lot was large enough, you could indeed put a lot on that property. A modular home is where, when you're going down the road and you see the two pieces of the home, and they are assembled on site on a slab. So they are considered a site-built home because they are built on site to building code. They're set on a permanent foundation like a site-built home, and Florida's Building Commission summary puts it plainly: modular is built, permitted, and inspected by Florida Building Code, where the manufactured home is not. They are vastly different. And we're going to talk about the modular home, the issues that we have sometimes that could kill the deal at the end. You're going to have to stay tuned for that. Buyers, you're going to want to listen to this as well as sellers. So we've defined the two types of properties. The modular home, which is on the land. It's like real estate. It is real estate. It is a site-built home. And then the manufactured home, the single or the double wide, that's on a chassis that's placed onto the land. There are usually pillars and tie downs and that kind of stuff underneath so it doesn't blow away like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. But it is attached to real estate. You do own that property. You cannot move that structure. You can knock it down and get rid of it and build a home or put another one on there, but you cannot move the structure to another location and leave the lot empty. Actually, it would have to be raised. And I gotta go, the chief's on the phone. You are subject to property tax and you are subject, insurance. I guess you can have insurance. If you don't want insurance and you've paid cash, it's just like a regular house. So that's fine. But I'm going to take it to the computer and I want you to take a look at some of the properties that I've sold over the past year to get an understanding of what's up there, what you can expect. And again, like I said, there are some homes that are very nice. I just closed on one today that was adorable. And we sold it for $197,000. I sold one that we sold the lot for $52,000 because the house was in such bad shape. Someone bought it and renovated it, but they spent a lot of money on it because the place was gross. Oh my God. Couldn't even believe somebody was living in it. But sometimes you're going to find that up there. And then there are sellers or investors who are buying the property, knocking down the manufactured home and putting up a site-built home or a stick-built home. So you can knock down the property, the manufactured home, and you can build whatever you want on it up there. You can build your own builder. It's a process. You have to get it annexed into Lady Lake and then plans. And I actually sold a lot where the couple, they knocked the mother's house down during COVID. And because it was during COVID, they allowed them to raise it without having a plan to rebuild it, which was very interesting because normally they wouldn't do that. And we sold a lot. It was on the water and it took a while, but I'm not really sure. I think it was a woman who bought it, built this huge home right on the water. There was another home up there. Oh my God, the house was gorgeous. It was like $800,000 it sold for. have these beautiful mid-century modern garage doors, which I just love. But I would never build an $800,000 house around single and double wides. I'm sorry. That's to me is a loss. But hey, you know, years ago, I was in this car dealer and there was this god awful ugly, it was like metallic green. It was really ugly looking car. And I said, who in the heck would buy that car? And he said, there's a butt for every seat. So there's a person for every home. Okay, so we're going to go to the internet and to the MLS, and I'm going to show you a couple of homes that I sold that are manufactured. I have one modular sold on the golf course, and you're going to get to see how much they sold for and what you can find under 200,000 here in the Villages, Florida. Because I'm going to get to the computer in a minute, but I have a lot of comments that the Villages is really expensive. I can't afford it. Who can afford $300,000? Blah, 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 blah. Well, I agree with you. Homes here can be pretty pricey. But if you only have 200 or you only have 175, that's the opportunity for you to be able to get into the community, enjoy all of the activities that we have here for under 200,000. So there is something here for everybody. Naysayers out there, you've been complaining and whining you can't buy a house here. I don't want to hear it. No, you're not going to get a house with a pool on the water for 200,000. Sorry, it's not realistic. But you can get a 2-bedroom manufactured home, and then you can golf every day, all day long. All right, so let's go on over to the computer and take a look at a couple of properties I sold this past year. All right, we're going to take a little ride around my sold block. I'm going to start off with this on 630 Orchid. Now, this is a modular home. You'll notice that, scroll in, you don't see that gap. We'll look on a manufacturer and you can see they sit up a little bit. This sits flat because it's on a foundation. This was a home that was 2 pieces brought together and assembled on site. This one happened to be completely renovated. An investor bought it, renovated it. It was on the golf course. And nice backyard, completely renovated. This, we put it on the market. This was last year in December, and it was on the market 33 days. It was 3,089. It sold for full price, and yeah, it was totally worth it. Drive. This one was in very poor condition. We sold this for basically what the lot cost. It sold for $62,000. It was on the market 30 days, and an investor bought this, and he completely renovated it and then resold it. This one I sold around right after Christmas last year. There was so if you look here, you see where this brick part is. That's the difference in a manufactured and a modular, because this has the vapor barrier and the tie downs. This was a big one. It was dated on the interior, and we had a buyer. The buyer backed out. And in the meantime, they had an inspection. We ended up putting on a new roof. And then I had another buyer, actually my buyer, came in and purchased this. So I had to buy and sell on this. We listed it for $169. It was on the market 48 days. We sold it for $150,000. And this was last year. We closed on it in April. It doesn't let me go through a list so you can see all the homes that sold last year. Okay. This one on 1854 West Schwartz. Not bad on the inside. So this home listed for $189,900 and it sold for $185,000, but it was on the market for 78 days. Again, so we're still under the 200,000 mark. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a couple over there that are over 200,000, but primarily the prices have dropped over there as well. This one here on West Schwartz, this was turnkey with the golf cart. This had been on the market quite a while. We had quite a bit of activity on it, and we finally received an offer. It was nice on the inside, clean, turnkey property. When it was on 229 days, we had an inspection. This was a VA loan, came back, the vapor barrier was torn and needed repair, as well as the tie downs. Engineering company, because it's financed, engineering company came out, and the damage, the repairs were $6,300. And unfortunately, when you go through this, if you decide not to repair it and back out of the contract, whatever, put it back on the market, because this was financed hoping for a cash sale, you may run into the same problem that the next time somebody's going to come in and say and do an inspection and want it repaired. So don't be so quick to back out of a deal because you have to do a lot of repairs, because you probably will have to do it again, and your next offer might not be as good as the first offer. So this was one of those that I had that needed quite a bit of repair. Again, I said this earlier, moving forward, I would like an inspection done ahead of time. And it's not like I'm ordering you around, but I'm just telling the sellers, for their best interest and peace of mind, have it inspected and repaired if need be, and then you know what your expenses are, and then you can list it appropriately without having to take a loss or end up paying money at closing or before to fix the vapor barrier and the tie downs. Okay. This one was also the same person, the company that renovated Orchid, the modular, purchased this and renovated the interior. This was a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. Completely redone. This one was on the market 24 days. We listed it for $149,900 and sold it for $147,000. And again, if you have a small budget, there might be a 1-bed, 1-bath over there that works for you. Okay. Bonita Drive. This is another home that an investor I work with purchased, renovated, and flipped. This was a manufactured home on the golf course, completely updated. New kitchen, new everything. It was on the market 29 days, listed for $229,900, and we sold it for $226,500. I'm giving you all kinds of reasons to move here under 200,000. This is the last one. We just closed on this on Monday, 713 Sharon Drive. Adorable turnkey property, very well maintained and taken care of. Both buyer and seller, well, buyer was happy. Seller was a little unhappy when we had the inspection. This was a financed purchase, and we had to make repairs of $4,850 to the vapor barrier and the tie downs. And it would have been better off had we known this up front. Well, when we actually were in the listing consultation, she had purchased it from someone who had a VA loan and everything was fine. So code changed over time, and yeah, $4,850 she had to pay to have that repaired so we can get the deal closed. That is it for the manufactured homes that I've sold recently. Let's get back to the conclusion. So not too bad. So most of those are an investor that I work with that flips properties, and the homes he flips are absolutely stunning. So he's done an amazing job, and congratulations to the buyers who were able to purchase the homes that he's renovated. Thank you very much. We appreciate your business. All right, so financing a manufactured home. As long as the home was built in 86, I mean, you have to check with the lender. If they're too old, you might not be able to get financing on it. You have to pay cash. But I have had great success. Every one of my buyers who needed to buy with a loan were able to do so, and they were able to get insurance. Sometimes the interest rate might be a little bit higher and you may have to put a little bit more money down. That is going to be lender specific. When it comes to insurance, you can get insurance on these properties, but I can tell you it's not cheap. I think like $185,000 manufactured home, they're insuring them for about $3,000. So it's actually more than a site-built home, but you're still saving $100,000 on a house. So that's a fraction of the cost, but you can get insurance. Inspections are a little bit different. When you go through the inspection process of a manufactured home, you have to find an inspector that's actually going to crawl up underneath there and look all around at the vapor barrier, the tie downs, make sure they're all up to code, not ripped and torn, all that good stuff. Not every inspector will do that. Sean Sterner from Sterner Inspections, who most of my buyers use him, he does manufactured home inspection. So he will get up under there and yuck. But you have to make sure they do that. And typically with a manufactured home as well, we don't need a wind mitigation because there's no trussed roof. It's all one piece. So, piece comes together or it's on that chassis. So there's no trusses that they have to check if they're nailed. The nails are certain space apart and that it's attached to the home properly. So we don't need a wind mitigation. But we still you need a 4-point because they have to test the HVAC, the mechanical, the electrical, plumbing. When it comes to the HVAC, what's a little unusual about a manufactured home is that it's all one unit, the condenser and the air handler. So typically in a site-built home, I'll show you. I gotta video it, but you're going to find the air handler in a closet in the garage or some of the floor plans. It's in the laundry room. That's the air handler. The condenser is outside, and that's the unit that you hear spinning every time the air turns on. With the manufactured home, the condenser and the air handler are all one unit. Modular home, it acts the same. The condenser, well, I guess I'm not really sure about that. I guess you could have it both ways. I'm not certain, but the modular home that I sold had the air handler inside and the condenser was outside. So now we looked at some of the properties and we're coming to the end. And I am going to tell you the 2 things that could kill a deal. And it happened to 2 of my manufactured homes. The deal didn't fall apart, but it came very close. They did a home inspection and they needed to repair the vapor barrier and the tie downs. And you have to have an engineering company come out. Now, both of these deals were financed. So an engineering company had to come out. Not that if it was cash, we wouldn't have had this problem, but to repair the vapor barrier and the tie downs on one of the homes was $6,300. And that came at the very end and the sellers had to pay it or the deal was going to fall apart. The other deal, same thing. Vapor barrier was damaged. Part of it had to be repaired. And the tie downs, they made the gentleman that I use that repairs these items, they had to bring it back up to code. So he had to go in and redo some things and do some other things. I'm not getting into the weeds with that, but that bill was $4,850 and that came towards the end and the seller had to pay it. So it's a huge additional expense. So if you have a manufactured home out there and you're thinking about selling it, and I'm going to go through this with every manufactured home that I list moving forward. We are going to get a home inspection prior to listing. I want to know what that undercarriage looks like. I don't want a surprise for the vapor barrier or the tie downs for you because you're going to get whacked with a big bill. And I tell you what, it'll help us when we go to price it to make sure we price it accordingly or get it repaired up front, and then we don't have to worry about the deal falling apart. So if you're going to have me list your manufactured home, expect an inspection and some fixing. But in the long run, you are going to be thrilled because you're going to have a smooth transaction. You're not going to have anybody freaking out and want to back out at the last moment. because that happened. It's happened a couple times up there. So, all right. So in this episode, we discovered the manufactured home, the difference between manufactured and modular. We talked about financing and insurance. I went over a lot more than I thought. We talked about inspections. We talked about the difference between it being chattel and real estate, and what you're not going to do to kill your deal. So that is it for this episode on manufactured and modular homes under 200,000 here in the Villages, Florida. I'm Robyn Cavallaro. I'm a realtor. Don't forget, I think you want to check out this next episode about the amenity fee. It's very important information you need to know when you're going to live here and want to have fun, who pays for it. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.